Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show, presented by thestevestrout.com. I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. How do you do? This is episode 92. We appreciate you guys listening as always. Thank you so much for your support. We can't do this without all of you guys who do listen and do enjoy the show. At least I hope you enjoy it. And as always, if you would like to show your support, you can head over to our Buy Me a Coffee, which is buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. And that basically is a tipping service. It's a way to throw a little something at us at the show. You know, supports everything that has to do with the Steve Crypto Show, our audio gear, promotions, everything. Like, we have a couple events coming up, a couple live events, and, you know, we have a banner we made, and, you know, contributions from that helped to make the banner. They're helping to make all these different coffee mugs and different pieces of merch that Steve will tell you about in a minute. But another way that you can help support us is by becoming a Patreon member at patreon.com/Steve Crypto. You can head over there and check out a bunch of exclusive content, things that we put out just for them, just for Patreon members, things we put out for you first before everyone else. Sometimes we'll put it out for you guys like a month before we release it on YouTube or something like that. There's an assortment of things. There's you and Ryan did a little board game audio clip, right? Not video, just audio.
We're actually planning on doing something else again soon, because we just went to PAX West, which is a big gaming expo, and it was her first time going. So we're going to get a little chat soon as we have time. It's been crazy busy at home and work and life. And, you know, when I was out of work for a while, I went back and had catching up to do. And for some reason, we've been getting a ton of like catering orders and shit. So it's keeping me like crazy busy. It's like planning days ahead. So yeah, we did. Me and Ryan did do a thing a little while back. And we're going to do another one soon. And of course, you mentioned other stuff we do. We'll post photo galleries or videos. We always put stuff there first. Give our patrons first dibs before it goes public after a couple weeks, a month, or whatever. But you guys deserve to see it first.
That's right. Yeah. And hey, I'm excited to hear about the whole trip to PAX, because, you know, I didn't get a chance to go. I've never been myself, and I love board games just as much as you do. Games of any kind, really, just as long as they're not like dramatic mind games, you know, but real games, bring them on. So we'll be waiting for that. PAX little audio clip to come our way, little chat. And then of course, you know, there's plenty of other things you can check out right now. So just check out patreon.com/Steve Crypto and become a member. And we also have a couple other ways to show your love for the Steve Crypto Show. Steve, take it away.
Do we? How else can they support us?
Social
Just
media,
kidding.
of course.
Social media. Of course, you go to social media. First of all, go leave us reviews and ratings wherever you listen, if possible. Not all podcast apps and stuff allow you. I know Podchaser does. I know Apple does. I know Spotify allows you to rate shows. So do that. It definitely helps us move up rankings and helps us, you know, be more visible. Not visible, noticed. Helps us be noticed more.
I know you said if you listen, but even if you don't listen, feel free to go there and leave a review.
Yeah, leave a good review. Be like,
yeah,
these guys are the best fucking
And I'm going to check them out eventually.
The best. These guys are the best. Just pretend you listen. Make something up. Like, I love the episode when they had fucking Hulk Hogan on there. No, we don't have Hulk Hogan.
No, it was Andre the Giant.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But we can't tell you which episode. You got to just go through all of them. You'll find it.
Yeah, we're making that up right now.
I can tell you it's not from last week. I know that. Yeah. I'll at least tell you that.
It's definitely not from last week. But yeah, social media. Let's stop talking nonsense and talk the important shit, like the Facebook group. Go to Facebook, search the Stephen Crypto Show podcast, and the Facebook group will pop up. And then you can click that join button and you can enjoy the plethora of valuable news and info related to the show and not related to the show. Ton of other creators and filmmakers and stuff drop stuff in there occasionally. Nerdy news, keep the nerdy shit. We're about that pop culture. Also, mostly horror, but we love it all. But we're fucking nerds. Go to the Facebook group, join it, invite a bunch of friends to join it that you think might be into it. Go find us over on Instagram and Twitter. He is at CryptoZoo88. I am the Steve Strout. Over on both of those. What else? We have merch. We got lots of merch. Well, we got a fair amount of merch. Maybe not a lot, but someday. We got 2 different t-shirts. We got mugs. We got pins. We got magnets. Got a few hats left. Some of that stuff is available on our Etsy our Etsy Stephen Crypto merch page. I don't know why I said Facebook, but whatever. We made up Etsy Facebook. We made that up too. We made up shit about having Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan on. Now we made up our whole new social media buying platform. But go to Etsy. Search for Stephen Crypto. Our page will pop up. You'll see t-shirts. You'll pick your favorite one and you'll hit the button and you'll scroll down and find your size. And then you'll click on that and then click add to cart. And then the next thing you do is you go to your cart and you punch in your PayPal info or your credit card info. And then usually within a couple weeks, that shirt will arrive at your house. Then the next thing you do is you wear that shirt proudly around your town and in your community and on your walks around your cul-de-sac or wherever you live. Wear it when you're out and fucking slinging crack in the projects. I don't care where you wear it. Just wear the damn thing and look cool.
The next thing you do is you go back to that website, back to Etsy/shop/Steve Crypto merch and buy another shirt for your friend. I mean, that's the nice thing to do.
It actually saves you on shipping if you just buy them all at once.
We prefer that our listeners be generous people, so if you're a nice, generous person and a loving person, then, do the right thing and order a t-shirt for your neighbor and for your grandma and for your friend and your coworker. And, maybe the guy down the street that's selling crack on the corner, the one Steve was talking about.
Yeah, that guy.
Maybe give him one.
The guy. You already gave that guy a hat.
So. Yeah, so go throw him a shirt because he probably can't afford to buy that stuff himself because then he wouldn't have crack.
I don't like to rush things, but the holidays are coming, and Stephen Crypto magnets make great stocking stuffers.
They sure do.
But fuck Christmas. Let's not talk about Christmas yet.
Let's talk about Halloween, and then you can just apply that same idea to Halloween. But hear me out. You get your little traditional bucket, your candy bucket that you would have sitting out for people to take, or the one that you're going to open the door with to hand candy out. But instead of candy, you just have a whole bucket full of Stephen Crypto magnets. And again, you know where to go. Etsy/shop/Stephen Crypto merch. Head over there, buy out all the magnets and then just give those away.
You
I mean,
do
kids
know-
are gonna love them.
You know how many fucking
It's like, what the
houses?
fuck is
How many
this?
houses are gonna get egged and toilet papered? Like, I would egg your house if you gave me a Steven Crypto magnet. To be
The
honest,
kid,
I'm not gonna
you
lie.
you could give the kid like a Roblox magnet. They'd probably still contemplate egging your house.
Yeah, like, you give me a magnet.
Like,
of
I don't
my
want a
own
fucking
show.
magnet.
You could be like, look, I bought 100 of your magnets, but I'm gonna give you one instead of a fucking Reese's peanut butter cup, and I'll probably fucking egg your house because fuck you. I want candy. It's Halloween, bitch. But yeah, so there's that. Social media, CryptoZoo88, the Steve Strout, the Facebook group, the merch. Go leave us reviews. So last week we mentioned the fact that our show is officially 2 years old.
That's right. We covered a variety of things that we have done in
So
the 2
far.
years time
Yeah.
so far. Yeah. We, you know,
We're
in
still
this
kinda
last
celebrating.
week, yeah, we're still celebrating. And in this last week, just, you know, since recording the previous episode, we have thought about a couple other things that were maybe worth mentioning. So like one is from last year's Halloween episode. We talked to a variety of people. We had about 4 different guests. And I'd say the biggest guest, you know, probably the most known, you know, worldwide would be Doug Jones, who you may know from Hocus Pocus and the upcoming Hocus Pocus 2. He's
Hellboy.
actually featured in the new Hocus Pocus trailer. They finally put him in there at the very end.
Yeah.
Hellboy, The Shape of Water, What We Do in the Shadows, which has become one of my new favorite TV shows for sure.
He's in a lot.
Boy, he works, man. The guy is busy. Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, Ouija. We recently watched that. That was interesting.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of shit. Yeah, that was cool. Our first year, the Halloween episode was pretty cool too. We had Russ Striner, who is Johnny from the original Night of the Living Dead. You know, "We're coming to get you, Barbara," that guy. They're coming to get you. I said where, but yeah,
that was a really fun listen.
I misquoted my favorite horror movie. Good job, Steve. So yeah, we've had cool guests on Halloween. We are working on the next Halloween episode. I've been talking and working on booking some cool stuff for that episode. I know so far we do have some music coming. I have been talking with a past guest who is a really popular guest. I got a confirmation from a kind of a acting legend as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to mention until, of course, we got the segment recorded with him, but that's kind of exciting. I know one thing I can announce. So this is our official first Halloween episode 2022 guest announcement. Is we're going to have a segment from another past guest, a horror host friend of ours, Lord Bloodraw, is going to do a little segment. We're working on the details of it, but I think it's going to be something pretty interesting. Maybe something along the lines of the, like maybe a little list of what the best movie.
Like hidden gems or something that just slides under the radar all the time that you really think we should check out, let us know. Send us a message.
That, and of course, like I just said, listen up for when we release the Halloween episode for Lord Bloodraw segment, where he's going to tell us a horror host's favorite movies to watch during this time of year. So that's kind of interesting because That's what horror hosts do.
Yeah.
Promote movies. They watch movies and tell us about movies. So he's going to tell us about some of his personal favorite ones. So that's kind of neat. What else? Another thing we didn't mention last week was we were talking about some highlights. Probably should have mentioned the Rondo Award nomination, which to me personally, like when we first started, that was one of my goals. I was like, you probably remember me telling you that, like, I want to be nominated for a Rondo Award. And we did. And I cried. Not really, but I was pretty fucking hyped when we got that. So hopefully we get on the ballot again this year and we do a little better vote wise. I think we will. Hopefully, like our listenership is growing slowly, steadily. So that's good. So if we get on that ballot next year, make sure you guys vote. And of course, we'll fucking let you know. Don't you worry about that.
Speaking of voting, isn't there something else that people can vote for right now that you're involved in?
Oh, that. So there's that. If anybody's on social media and you are into horror shit, you've seen that Face of Horror contest. I just, for the hell of it, I was like, fuck it, I'll sign up for it. And actually, I'm doing pretty well in my group. I'm like in 5th place or something, which is surprising. People are actually coming through with that. So that kind of makes me feel good. So yeah, you guys could go vote on that. If you follow me on social media, go through all my links. There's a link directly to it. And I've been posting the shit out of it. So you can just click on it and vote every day. And let's get on to the next round. Like, I don't know. I probably won't win the whole damn thing, but if it like translate to one new listener or something, I'm happy. That's my main thing. I don't care about winning that contest. I just want to kind of put our show on the map, and there are people who listen to it. That's like our community.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The Steven Crypto Show community. I want us to be noticed because we're a bunch of fucking cool ass weirdos, and yeah. So go fucking vote or don't. I don't care. But if you do, don't sign up the fucking credit card thing. You can register to vote, verify through Facebook. Do it that way. Because there's like a thing like you can verify 2 different ways. Like I think they're trying to avoid like bots and like programs to people to buy votes. But I don't want anybody to put the credit card thing. I mean, you can if you want. It's on you. You could buy extra. I think the votes that people pay for, the money, some of the money, like I'm hearing that not much of it does, but I don't know. I don't know the whole logistics. I'm not paying a fucking penny to do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm just knowing that we were nominated for a Rondo Award, which is the Oscars of our people.
Yeah.
That's about it about that. Later in this episode, we have a guest, Mark. Watch a movie, and if your trope comes up, you mark it like bingo, and you win. But he is promoting a crowdfunding for like an atomic age monster from like the 50s, like the sci-fi horror stuff. He made his series of enamel pins that are really fucking cool. Like if you know his art, it's awesome. I'm pretty sure you've seen his stuff.
I think so.
But he's promoting that, and he tells us a little bit about his history and stuff. Like he's a good dude. So stay tuned this episode for that. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But of course, we want to run through our usual bits of news and info that's come up, because we like to know what the fuck's going on and want to make sure you guys know.
There's a few things.
I'd say the biggest things that come out in the last week or so has been all like the D23 or whatever the fuck that their convention thing is, and Disney Plus Day or whatever the hell.
There's some announcements through D23. Like there's supposed to be a Mufasa movie coming out, which might be all right.
They released a teaser for Little Mermaid. I know you got fucking hyped about that. I was surprised to find out that Winnie the Pooh movie is not Disney.
Yeah. No trailer for the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. Can you believe that?
That's some bullshit. I wonder if that's going to be on Disney Plus.
Eeyore is just feeling more and more like Rodney Dangerfield. He's like, God, when I'm dead, I get no respect.
It's like, hey, Pooh, I get no respect.
Because spoilers, they ate Eeyore. Pooh and Piglet ate Eeyore, and they kind of imply that in the trailer.
Nice.
So I mean he's dead at least. They probably ate him.
Wonder if he tasted as mopey as he was.
Like this meat tastes okay.
It tastes like shit.
So yeah, they had the whole D23 thing. Tastes like tears. So they revealed a few trailers and movies that are on the way. I remember Mufasa. I'm kind of spacing on the rest of them, to be honest.
It's going to be like a Peter Pan and Wendy.
That's right.
Something like that.
Yeah, there's a Peter Pan thing coming up. And I guess they're going to talk about like when Captain Hook and Peter were actually friends many years ago. Yeah, really? They were supposedly friends at one time. Yeah,
back when they were
back in the day when things were cool. Yeah,
back in the day when they were homies, and then they started fighting over Wendy.
Yeah, yep.
I think the exciting shit, like most of the Disney stuff, none of it seemed that exciting. I think all this Star Wars stuff is a lot more intriguing.
That's what I was getting to. They revealed the trailer for The Mandalorian season 3. And
I think they did a trailer. They just announced that it was coming.
I watched something.
Was it like a little teaser or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably a teaser then.
I mean, it seemed like it seemed like a 30-second trailer, unless it's like an old one or something. I don't know. But I watched something this weekend, and I could have swore it was a new trailer.
You gotta watch out for some of those motherfuckers out there, though, that put up like their little homemade trailers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I'm not like 100%, but I could have swore
they did. It was. At least I know I know for sure they at least announced that it'd be next year. Andor's releasing in a couple weeks, and it's launching with 3 episodes, so that's kind of exciting. And there's a lot of talk about it being really good. So I'm excited. Yeah, but like, who put that trailer out? Did Star Wars release that, or?
I'm seeing E! And Movie Trailer Source.
I don't know. It's not that big a deal. It'll come.
Oh, now I see a Star Wars one 3 days ago. Yeah, it's about 2 minutes long. I know I watched a clip, and I could have swore that it was official. I mean, it seemed like it.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I'll have to search that out and check it out. But
yeah, so you can find that on YouTube. Yeah, so you mentioned Andor.
Yeah.
The new trailer for that looks pretty decent. It's honestly like my least. It's like like the show from Star Wars that I'm least excited for. But
Really?
the trailers that I've seen look good. You know, like before watching this last trailer, I was just like, I'll watch it, but I'm not as invested.
I really liked Rogue One, and I want to see. This is like before he's like super involved in the rebellion, and I want to see the steps and the progression of him getting involved in it. Then speaking of rebellion, did you watch Rebels when it was out?
No.
Okay, so Ezra, the younger Padawan guy, they kind of left it hanging. Like, is he still alive or is he dead? He was like in this different dimension stuck, but they cast somebody, I can't remember the fucking dude's name, but they cast the live action version of him for the Ahsoka series.
Oh,
like when the last time we see him, he's kind of like working with Ahsoka to do shit. So I don't know if we're gonna see like flashback stuff or we're gonna see him escape from that dimension he's stuck in, which is really cool. Yeah, I was thinking like at the end of that when Ahsoka was coming out, I was like, oh, we might get to see Ezra. That'd be fucking awesome because he's a cool character. And
they'll save that for down the road.
So it's coming. So I
That's
think
cool.
Ahsoka's coming this year too, isn't it? Like December or something.
I mean, that's when. Well, it could be. Yeah, I was gonna say that's when Mandalorian's supposed to come out, but it actually got pushed back.
Mandalorian's next year. I'm pretty sure Ahsoka's coming this year.
Yeah, Mando was supposed to be December, but they pushed it back. So maybe Ahsoka's coming out instead.
Right. That what else did they released the Tales of the Jedi? They did like a teaser for that series. It's gonna be like a series of short episodes from people who did the Clone Wars series.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked good. Look that up when you get a chance. The Tales of the Jedi. That looks fucking badass because I loved all the animated shit they did. Rebels was great. Fucking Bad Batch, which I think comes next month, is fucking awesome. Clone Wars was amazing. I really, really enjoyed all the animated stuff.
I tried to get my kid to watch a couple episodes of Clone Wars with me. He did watch 2 of them, and I was happy that he even sat that long. But then after that, he wanted to go back to his room and watch YouTube.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that I could get him to watch it, but I just ended up watching it by myself.
Yeah. What else? You said you watched the Pinocchio movie on Disney Plus Day, right?
Yeah, I watched a few things on Disney over the weekend. Pinocchio being the first one. And
quick thoughts on it?
It was cool. I mean, it was really like nothing new. Like new to the story.
Was
it
was pretty much like the same,
pretty much like the original story, but just live action. Yeah,
just like they did with fucking Lion King and all that shit. Yeah,
they changed a couple things because I would say like all the clocks that were behind Pinocchio, they're all on the wall. Like a couple of them were Disney themed. There's like the sword pulling, or like the kid pulling the sword out of the stone, or there was like another, like clip of a Disney movie.
That might be my favorite animated Disney movie, Sword in the Stone.
It was definitely one of mine
since I was a kid.
Me too. Yeah. So they had all these things like that. There was like a Lion King one where like Rafiki would come out and hold Simba up in the air. So it was like, all right, well, this Pinocchio movie is supposed to be connected in the same universe as all this stuff. Is that what you're saying? But I mean, if you don't dive into it that deep, if you don't think about it, it's kind of just funny to see that. So anyway, yeah, it's fun. It was fun. Tom Hanks did a good job as Geppetto. Keegan Michael Key did a voice of a fox that sang. I didn't even have to look up who it was. I could tell that was Keegan. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, a good family movie.
Yeah.
Nothing questionable about it. I also watched Thor: Love and Thunder, which is on Disney Plus right now.
That was your first time seeing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I liked it. Everybody that I've talked to, that I've asked what they thought of it, pretty much everybody has said that they thought it was like relying too much on the comedy and just trying to be too funny. I honestly don't mind that. I like that they're incorporating more humor into into a lot of the Marvel films.
I felt like it was such a big. If you look at like the first Thor movie and then look at this, it's such a drastic difference.
Yeah.
So it's kind of off-putting a little bit, but I rewatch it. I went and watched it in the theaters, of course, when it was out, and I rewatched it a couple nights ago with Ryan because she hadn't seen it, and I definitely liked it a lot more the second time because I went in, I knew what to expect. I was like, it's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
So I just went with that in mind, and it was more entertaining. Because when
Yeah,
I was in the
it's fun.
theater, I was like, this is kind of, they're trying too hard to be funny. But knowing that they did that, going in the second time, it made it a lot easier to handle. And I got some, I enjoyed it more. Like I said, I enjoyed it way more the second time.
Yeah. My favorite Thor film is still Thor Ragnarok, and a big reason why I like it so much is because of the comedy.
But it wasn't as forced in like,
no,
it's like trying to put joke after joke and they're not all funny. Thor Ragnarok, they weren't where they were, and you know what I mean? It was way better written.
It's a lot of the banter between Hulk and Thor that it makes it good, like they just took more of what they had in the Avengers, like the original Avengers movie, basically, like back when they didn't really like each other, and you could really see it. And they just kind of added to that in Ragnarok, in my opinion.
They went from Thor being, he's like they make him look dumb in this one.
Yeah.
They make him look very not smart. And it's not that he's dumb. He's just very from a different generation. You know what I mean? Like a different generation, like old people jokes versus new sense of humor.
Right.
And they took it and just the way they pushed it so much just made him look like a buffoon, and he's not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's supposed to be a little more serious, and they kind of made him into a clown. Just part of the whole clown show, and it was like I don't know.
That's actually, almost an exact quote of what somebody said when I was out delivering a while ago. They were just kind of commenting on the fact that they're, Marvel's trying to be funny a little too much now. He's like, there's nothing wrong with a serious comic book film. But
I feel like this movie, when they were working on it, if you remember like seeing production starting and stopping multiple times and, changes and stuff. So like, I feel like it got to a point where it was like, we need to get this fucking movie out. Hurry up. What I mean? Write a bunch of funny stuff, make people laugh. Let's just get it out.
It's usually a bad sign when they do that. Like I think the first Venom had 2-3 rewrites, and that already had people like questioning how it was going to be,
It could ruin things. Just little things could ruin. I didn't say it was ruined. I was entertained by the movie. Like, I always say I don't want to trash on something unless it's who stuff. But it was entertaining. I didn't hate it by any means. I liked it. It was fine. But rewatching it, it was better because my expectations were probably lowered. But it was good. It was fine.
I like the direction of the story took with old Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda. Yeah.
we're not going to say what it is now, as it's, you know, maybe a little early. A lot of people haven't seen it, but just what you learn about her, about something that she's dealing with in the movie, and then like what her powers do to her, you know, when you learn that. And then there's a certain scene towards the end where you're kind of like almost talking to the TV, like, oh shit, no, don't do that. Like, you know, you know they're trying to do the right thing, they're doing the honorable thing, but you're like, like just
yeah, I don't know. That whole part of the story could have been different, but anyways, we should jump into this little chat we had with Mark and hear about his crowdfunding for his pen collection, and then we'll come back and do some trivia and mention a couple more things and get the fuck out of here.
Let's do it.
Meet Mark Monlux. We'll be right back.
Hello, my good people. It is I, Fanboy Will of the Kill Your Radio podcast. And on behalf of ZombieBot and myself, I would like to thank you for tuning in today to my buddies here at the Steve and Crypto Show. And when you're not busy listening to the great content here on the Steve and Crypto Show, why not give us a shot over at the Kill Your Radio podcast? You can find us at www.linktr.ee/the Kill Your Radio podcast. Your one-stop podcast for the latest, greatest punk, metal, hardcore, hip-hop, new wave, garage rock, and more. I would also like to take this time to wish both Steve and Crypto a very happy 2-year podcasting anniversary. You did it, guys. Congrats.
Hey, we are on the Steve and Crypto Show. We have a special guest to tell us about a series of pins that he has produced, the Atomic Age Alien series. He has a Kickstarter going for it, which will tell us about that in a few minutes. He is an artist named Mark Monlux. We've chatted multiple times over the years at conventions, particularly Crypticon. He's always one of the artists I look forward to seeing there every year. He always has cool stuff. I got his stickers all over like my water bottles, and very horror sci-fi, but he has a fun twist to it. He's not like he's not putting out like gory stuff. He has like a fun cartoony. Well, why don't we just let him tell us about his stuff? Meet Mark Monlux. How you doing today, Mark?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm an illustrator that lives in Tacoma, Washington, but I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. And one of the things that influenced me was nightmare theater. For those of you who were growing up back in the day, back in the 70s and the 80s, The Count. Yes, we're talking Channel 7. The Count was the local horror movie host, dressed up in typical Dracula gear, told the worst puns possible. And he was one of the assistant managers at the TV station. And there's almost no recorded footage of him at all, because, you know, back in the day, they would take the videotapes, redo them, work over them. You might be able to find one or two clips of him online, but that's it. But for me, I grew up in a big family. My dad would come home at the end of the day, and one of the few times he and I would get a little one-on-one time is for nightmare theater, when we would both stay up and watch these really cheesy old horror and science fiction films. And that's where my love of horror movies came in. And then when I went to college during the 80s, you had all these great practical special effect films that were hitting the screen. And I had a lot of free time and great people to hang out with. So I really became a fan of the genre, that I'm looking for just anything to watch.
There was definitely a lot of it coming out in the 80s, that's for sure. And the count was definitely like before my time, but I've been digging and trying to find all that. I'm like obsessed with horror hosts. So I've been digging and trying to learn all the history, the very limited history of horror hosting here in the Northwest. But I came up with a little list. I was actually going to work on an article about it at some point, but there's really very limited information and limited footage. But yeah, the count, it's cool. I've talked to quite a few people based here in the Northwest, creators, artists, filmmakers, actors, that all give a shout out and credit to the count for influencing them. So that's cool.
If you're curious, I have a Letterboxd account. Are you familiar with the Letterboxd?
Oh yeah, yep.
So one of the lists on my Letterboxd account is all the movies that were shown on Nightmare Theater over the years.
Oh.
And one of the things they were able to do better than the next guy was they started doing the whole thing earlier. So they had a deeper cache of movies. And we're talking like some wonderful Mexican horror films like Santos versus the Aztec Mummy.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Santos at all.
Yep. Gotta love the Santo movies.
Now, I was in New York some years, this was a good 10, 12 years back, trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my first book. And I happened to be sitting next to Lloyd Dangle, who did a political cartoon strip called Trouble Town. And we were at a Graphic Artists Guild convention. And so we're sitting at the bar, and I'm saying, Lloyd, I'm trying to think of what to draw. Should I do, a biographical comic? I'm not a man in tights type guy. What should I do? He says, well, I can tell you that unless you love it, you'll get tired of drawing after the 50th strip. So whatever you do, draw something you love. What do you really love? I thought, I really love movies. He says, great, do a movie review. So on the flight home, I did a 9-panel movie review of a French film I saw. And I followed a 9-panel format that was identical to the Troubletown format because I thought, well, if Lloyd can sell his comics to the independent weeklies. Sorry about that. I thought if Lloyd could sell his comics to independent weeklies, I could too. So I'll just follow his same format so that they can plot me right in. So I did up all these wonderful comics and I put them into a book. It was my first book called, The Comic Critic Presents Seldom Seen Films. It's now out of print, but I sold like 2,500 of them. And now I have another book out. But promoting that book is how I started doing comic book conventions and showing up at places like Crypticon. And you quickly learn that you can do other things that don't take quite as much effort as a book. You can print posters, T-shirts, that type of thing. And I just have a blast at comic conventions, so that's why I started coming up with all this stuff. Now, I wanted to do some enamel pins, and I had some success doing a Kickstarter for a deck of playing cards featuring obscure movie monsters. I'm practically out of those now. And I thought, enamel pins are the next best thing. I'd like to do a series of those. And I thought, okay, I'll do some creature feature type things. And as I was drawing a bunch of images, I was trying to describe a couple to a friend of mine. And he said, what are these? Where are these from? I said, oh, they're from the Atomic Age. And then he said to me, you got the name right there. I said, you're right, that's the name. So I decided to do this series all as Atomic Age aliens. So we've got Invasion of the Saucermen from 1957. It Conquered the World from 1956. I Married a Monster from Outer Space from 1958. This Island Earth from 1958, Earth versus the Flying Saucers from 1956, and Killers from Space from 1954. Now, these movies range from really awful, horrible films, the type of stuff that you would easily find on MSK 3000, like Killers from Space. Oh my God. We're talking backdrops of giant bugs in the background, the guy in the foreground looking back, going, oh my God. And then we've got really good ones like This Island Earth, big classic. The mutant in there is highly recognizable in pop culture. And then you have another really good film that not quite as many people have seen, but they really should because it's really an excellent film. And it's I Married a Monster from Outer Space. I know it's got a really cheesy title, but I highly recommend people to watch this film because when I watched it as a kid, I thought it was in color. I was absolutely convinced because my mind was just putting it all out there. It really captured me.
I think that's the appeal of the movies from that era, was that kind of cheesiness. It kind of gives it a charm, but it also has it was based around, the atomic age. It was based around they tried to scare us using real life stuff.
It was all about Cold War paranoia and the fear that people were feeling at the time of this new threat in their lives. And they didn't know how to process it, that we could all die if something went wrong. I mean, that had never been there before. I know now we have whole generations that have grown up with this mushroom cloud hanging over their heads.
Yeah, it's still there, but that's a whole different thing. So it's then a Kickstarter now. How are you running? Is it sort of basically like pre-ordering the pins, or is there like different levels, different amount of pins? Or
well, the way I've been running it so far is it got funded with the first pin, and then each subsequent pin is being funded as a stretch goal. And in the first couple of days, I reached the first 2 pins, and I'm working on the 3rd pin, but I've been stalled out for this last week on getting the 3rd pin funded. And I'm thinking, I've got enough people invested that I could just go ahead and pay for the run of the entire series and balance out even. Usually when you do a Kickstarter, what you want to do is not just break even, but you either want to come in head either in profit or with inventory. But I'm really wanting to do the whole series. So I think what I'll do is in the next couple days, go in and change it and let everybody know that, hey, all these pins are going to be available. You can pick and choose whichever ones you want because there are tier levels. The first tier is 1 pin, next tier is 2 pins. You can, or 5 tiers. I have some early bird specials happening right now. So if you get in early, you can get pins for $11 each. But if you wait too long, the only way you're going to be able to get the $11 each is by buying the entire set.
Which is probably the good way to do it anyways. I mean, if you have one of them, you should probably have all of them, of course. That's how I look at it.
Well, I'm looking to you now. I'm thinking, oh yeah, let's see if Steve follows through on that. That'd be great. I would appreciate people just buying their favorite. Each one actually features an alien, except for the Earth versus the Flying Saucer. There's this iconic moment where a flying saucer crashes into the Capitol. And this was a Ray Harryhausen special effect film. And so in that one, I've got the flying saucer crashing into the Capitol, and the flying saucer is going to be done with glow-in-the-dark material.
Oh.
So that'll be fun.
That's cool. I like it.
I also have another tier level called the director's tier. that if you think of a movie Alien that you want to have done as a pin, you sign on that tier level, and I'll do whatever pin you tell me to do, whether that's a Robo Monster or what have you. I'm even thinking right now about once I have all these pins, and I say you can order any of them, to do a high stretch goal for a Robo Monster pin, because I might make that one extra big, because Robo Monster has those antennas coming off of his head, and doing that in the form of a pin would make it extra long. And I'm thinking I want the head shape to be at least 2 inches tall like the others. These are big pins. Most of these pins are 2 inches tall.
Oh, that's pretty good size for
Yeah,
an
and
enamel pin.
they got 2 pins on the back, and they're secured with metal clasps, not the little rubber ones. And I'm also mounting them on cards that are about the size of a business card, and each business card has sort of like the name of the movie. It's done like a little movie poster with the head mounted on it.
Oh, that's cool. That's clever.
So go to Kickstarter and do a word search for Atomic Age movie series, and that should take you right to my Kickstarter.
And of course, when this goes up, I'll have a link. I'll throw a link up in the episode notes, so that way people can go right to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That'd be great.
That'll make it easier. So another cool thing that you do, I don't know if you have them available online or anything. I picked up a set of your horror movie bingo cards.
Oh, yeah. I have lots of horror movie bingo cards available.
Those are cool.
And I do have an online store. You can find that via my link tree. I'll send you a link to my link tree if you want to post that in there as well. But I have a online store that I sell. My playing cards are still available. A deck of 52 regular playing cards that feature forgotten horror movie creatures. The horror movie bingo, have you played it very much yet?
I've looked through them a bunch. I haven't had enough people in the house to sit down and play it yet, but it's part of the plan. I think I'm planning a little Halloween shindig, and I think we're all gonna play it and have some fun with it.
So what the bingo cards are, your standard bingo deck, but I took 120 movie tropes, things like Blood Trail or Spring Loaded Corpse or Final Girl, major ones and minor ones. And I scattered them over 25 different cards. And you hand these out before you watch a movie, and you see who can spot their tropes first. Another way a friend told me that he's been playing it is he and his friend will just name a movie, hand each other a card, and see if the movie they named, if they can get the tropes quickly enough, just by using their memory.
Oh, that's a clever way to play. I guess there's probably a lot of ways you could figure out how to play it, so I think that should be fun. But the pins, that's the big thing right now. I think everybody should go find the Kickstarter for these pins. And it's what is it, 5 pins, 6 pins?
6 pins.
6 pins, and you can get them for pretty much $11 each. That's a good deal.
$11 each right now.
And I'm looking at a picture of them right now, and they look pretty awesome. I'm kind of digging the Earth versus the Flying Saucer one, especially, and it's going to glow in the dark. I like it. Is there anything else in the works down the line that people should keep an eye out?
I've been thinking about doing another series of pins. I also have a couple more books in the works. My next book is going to be all about B movies. I'm going to see if I can market that around to a distributor first. I do a lot of movie prints. In Tacoma here, there's a place called the Grand Cinemas, and they do something called the Weird Elephant. Me and my friends do movie posters for them. There's also another thing at another movie theater called the Blue Mouse. I did their logo for them once upon a time. And there's a movie showing there once a month called Friday Night Frights. A guy named Anthony, really cool guy, has put that. He's been doing that now for 8 years. and occasionally I get the privilege of doing one of the posters for that. So I'm working on 2 prints right now. I'm working on one for Christine, and I'm working up a print for This Island Earth, because I really love that mutant. I want to make a nice poster for that.
Yeah, it's a very it's just a cool character, colorful. The images we see of it are really bold and colorful, and I think it'll work. Definitely in your art style. I think it'll look really good. And the pin itself, the picture of the pin I got right in front of me looks awesome.
And if anybody wants to follow me, just go to my Linktree list, and I put out something called the Comic Critic newsletter about once a month, and I tell people what I'm keeping up to with the movie stuff.
Very cool. So yeah, we'll get all these links up in the episode notes. People are listening to us everywhere, but if anybody in the area, are you going to be doing any appearances or conventions coming up?
I plan on doing the Bellingham Comic Con.
Oh yeah, that's a fun show.
And also, that's of course in Bellingham. And I'm also scheduled to do Jet City.
Yeah, Grit City now.
Oh, pardon me. You're right.
Yeah,
it's called Grit City, and that's in Tacoma.
Yep, we'll be there for that. So we'll have to connect there and chat a little bit. We're doing our first self-promotion appearance for the podcast there. So
nice.
We're
so
excited.
You got a table set up and everything?
We'll be out in the lobby, but we'll be there.
Oh, will you be podcasting live or?
No, it usually gets kind of noisy. So we might try to maybe get
capture a couple interviews,
a couple quick, 5-10 minute interviews here and there. We'll try to fill out an episode from the show. Maybe we'll talk to some of the patrons about their thoughts about it, and just hype up the show, because James, who runs it, is always been a good dude. He's always taken care of us, and so we're always supportive of him. And
I've been with James since the first show he did up in Seattle.
In Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, back when it was Jet. Back when it was Jet City. That was sometimes that location wasn't the best, man. It was like being in a bunker.
He started it at Seattle Center, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was.
And it was
before...
it was basically in the basement of the Seattle Center, underneath the Opera House, practically.
Oh, wow. And all those buildings just kind of feel old, anyways. I went to a convention there once, and it felt like I was in like an old high school gymnasium or something. It was, the lighting is weird, and it was off.
Yeah, most of that place was built back in 1962.
Yeah, for the fair. Yeah.
Yeah, practically as old as I am.
A little older than me, a couple years older than me. A little bit. But yeah, well, hey, Mark, thank you for coming on, and we'll push that Kickstarter and get some of those pins in people's hands. Not literally in their hands, but we'll make sure they procure them and place them on their hats and bags and the such.
Thank you, Steve. Every amount of support you can give me would be great.
Of course. All right, guys. You hear it, Mark Monlux. Go check him out. There will be links. Get on it. Get a pin. Get 2 pins. Get the whole set. Let's help him make this thing happen. It's pretty cool set. I love his work. So I'm gonna get on here and order a couple myself. One more quick thing. When does the Kickstarter run till?
Let's see. It runs until it's got 20 more days. So I would say the end of the month. I would say they had maybe not quite till the end of the month. I think it's like September 30th is when it ends.
So if people play this right, they could get pins and possibly have them in time to decorate themselves for Halloween.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah, that's what it's all about.
That's my goal.
Heck yeah, awesome. Well, Mark, thank you for hanging out and chatting for a few. We'll do this again sometime for sure.
Hey, this is Dr. Gangrene. You're watching the Steve. No, you're not. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show right here on whatever network you're on. I don't know what you're on. Don't ask me. I can't see what you're doing, but keep listening and tune in next week for more cool content on the Steve and Crypto Show.
All right, we are back. Thanks, Mark Monlux, for hanging out. Definitely want to chat more with him down the road. He's a good dude. I like talking with that guy. Just a nice, friendly guy. We mentioned trivia. So you guys, I tell you every week how to do a trivia. Message one of us to answer. We'll send you some shit and put you on the list. Once that list gets, to more than 2 people, we'll do a drawing and send somebody a super cool prize. So Crypto has a special easy, we keep them easy for you. He has an easy trivia question about a movie that we're both excited for that's coming really soon.
That's right. You need to listen. And if you know the answer, I want you to send it to the Steve Strout or Crypto Zoo 88, and we'll send you something cool. We might send you a movie, and I guarantee it's probably not going to be any artsy fartsy, crazy out there stuff. It's not going to be anything obscure. It's not going to be anything dramatic. It's going to be some horror. Because what is this? A horror podcast. So I got a stack of horror movies waiting for you.
You're not going to send him any of your porno movies?
No.
That you made in prison? Just kidding. What's the trivia?
Jesus. All right.
Is Jesus the answer? Or
you just had to throw that in. Well, no, I mean, in a way, I kind of gave you the answer already. But anyway, I'm just going to get to it. So there's a delightful horror movie called Terrifier that came out a few years ago. And I want you to tell me what the name of the killer in Terrifier is. It's really simple.
He's really good at it too.
Yeah.
God damn, that scene still resonates with me. The old Saw.
Yeah,
There's
man. It's like a violent, gruesome, grotesque, artistic masterpiece.
Something like that. But yeah, that new movie's coming. I'm excited. That should be good. Another weird thing, things coming. Monsters is like fucking 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And people are still fucking bitching about it. People still out there bitching about it. Like, dude, just watch the fucking movie.
So I wish I could tell you the name of this, since you mentioned it. I wish I could tell you the name of this person now, but I'll get it and I'll let you know later. Apparently, the stunt double for Fred Gwynn used to hang around in Port Townsend.
Really?
Yeah. My uncle apparently knows the name of the guy, so I'm going to talk to him about it some more and find out some more info on that. Yeah. But just a slight little tie to our area.
That's kind of cool. That's
cool. Yeah. And what I noticed looking up Fred Gwynn's Wikipedia is I never even put this together in the past watching this movie. He's the old man in Pet Sematary.
Yeah. He's
like,
the old
you
man
don't
in
want
Pet
to go
Cemetery.
down that road.
He's the fucking judge on My Cousin
Vinny. You don't want to
Vinny.
listen to that Stephen Crypto Show podcast.
He was the judge on My Cousin Vinny. Did you ever see that?
Like
Joe
one
Pesci?
time.
Man,
Long time ago.
The two Utes. Remember Joe Pesci? The two Utes.
Yeah.
And the judge is like, what's a Ute? That's Frank Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic. Speaking of other Freds, fucking, I was scrolling through, and apparently Fred Corey, who is the drummer from the 80s band Cinderella, like a band I love, is doing fucking voices in the Monsters. He's doing like the Raven and their little clock. Like he's doing a voice of that. So that's kind of like Rob bringing in some rock legends, as far as I'm concerned, into the mix. So that's cool, man. He's got bringing a lot of friends and cool people popping up, like Cassandra Peterson, Elvira is popping up in there. Somebody else who might end up being on our Halloween episode is supposed to have some part in this movie that I'm not going to say their names. Maybe we'll figure it out. That's a clue. Potentially, possibly, we'll just say possibly this person.
It's brewing. It's swirling in the pot. It's not quite done and ready.
Not ready yet. Fucking the prequel to X released at,
Pearl.
I think it was, Pearl released at, I think it was the Toronto Film Festival, which is happening like this past weekend or something. And they announced that there is going to be a third movie from that franchise, and it's going to be like a follow-up that continues the girl who survives at the end. Mia Goth's character. It follows her little chase to fame in LA in the 80s. So we're getting another movie in that series. And I'm hearing that Pearl is like really good. I'm hearing Pearl is good for newer horror movies. And I'm hearing that Barbarian movie is fucking really fucking good.
Yeah, I've heard great things. I've heard it's best to just go in with a clean slate. Don't try to look up what it's about, other than like people going to an Airbnb and looking around in this basement. That's all that you really need to know.
I read something about the trailers and stuff are very deceptive.
Yeah,
of what the movie's about. So that's cool. Speaking of trailers, a young filmmaker friend named Matthew Mark Hunter, he released a trailer. I sent it to you. That little indie trailer for Girls Make the Best Killers.
Yeah.
He released that, which is kind of cool, which is cool because I'm supposed to pop up in it. My face should pop up in there somewhere. I think I'm going to be a victim or something weird. But just my face. I don't have like a voice role or anything in it, but we've been talking, bouncing ideas. But we're gonna plan on having him on. Because this kid's like fucking 22 years old and he's made like 200 freaking movies. No, granted, a lot are shorts, but you know, you still got to film it and edit it and put the music and shit to it. And he's had some of his stuff is on the Trauma streaming app and stuff. Like this kid's like busting his ass and passionate about it. And you know, I mean, indie films it's art, you know. They're not all perfect, but this kid is putting a lot into it, and I definitely want to have him pop in here soon and spotlight it. And he's going to be releasing DVD and stuff for that movie, so he's going to come soon and talk about that with us. And he mentioned that we might give away a copy on the show, so that'd be cool. If you guys are into indie gory horror films, the shit's off the wall and you guys might dig it. Other than that, anything else interesting happening?
A few more things that people can check out to watch if you're looking for something to watch with your kids. I recommend I Am Groot. There's probably like half a dozen little 5-minute, not even 5 minutes because the credits take up a lot of it. You know, each one's just a couple minutes long, and I mean, there's not much dialogue, but it's fun. You know, they're just cool little videos. One that you should watch when your kids go to sleep after I Am Groot is American Horror Stories, which is like anthology style, kind of like Creepshow. So like if you don't feel like you want to invest in watching every season of American Horror Story to, you know what's going on, then just watch that. Watch American Horror Stories, and each one is its own little chapter, its own thing. Also,
have you been watching it?
We've watched all of them. Yeah.
Are they okay? They're pretty good.
They're good. They're fucking gross, man. Like there's a few of them that are really nasty. Like one where this lady like squeezes out this pus shit and like people come and like line up to like eat it or something like that, or like they feed off of her. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. You got to check that out. It's weird.
Right.
And then also, if you don't have much time and you're looking for some short videos, kind of like I Am Groot, but not for kids, watch Bite Size on Halloween, or Bite Size Halloween on Hulu. And they're all like 3 minutes long, just short little, monster videos or whatever, by a bunch of up and coming directors and producers. So yeah, check that out. Let's see. I hear The Invitation is good. That might be worth watching at some point. If anybody has heard anything about it, let us know. Did I mention Vampire vs. the Bronx last time?
I think we did.
Okay. That's a good one. That's
that
real
one's been
fun.
out for a little bit, but it's was a
been
fun
out.
movie.
Yeah, and I didn't get to it until like last weekend or the weekend before that or whatever. So it's very fun. Highly recommend it. One that I think I might have mentioned also was Wendell and Wild, which is coming to Netflix October 28th. So you got a little bit of a wait on that one, but it looks fun. You can see the trailer for it now. And it's the demons are voiced by Key and Peele. Okay. So just knowing that they're together and that they are both like big time horror movie fans, I'm looking forward to it. The animation reminds me of Nightmare Before Christmas, and rightfully so. I think somebody from that crew is involved. So yeah, it looks fun. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a good one for the family. Well,
definitely sounds like there's a ton of shit that's coming available soon or already available to watch, since we're in the midst of spooky season.
We'll be covering them as they come out, I'm sure.
As long as we remember. There's so many times like we're going to talk about this and that and forget to write it down, and then we don't talk about it. Like that's the Rondo word thing. Like we forgot about that. But
that's why with those last couple things, I was like, I think we talked about these last week, but in case we didn't, I wanted to at least mention them because Wendell and Wild sounds really fun.
Yeah, it does. Well, I think that's about gonna wrap up this week. We're slowly inching towards episode 100 and Halloween. So like our two potentially biggest shows ever, hopefully. Definitely 100's a big deal. And 2 years.
Yeah.
That's all this cool shit in like one small window, like 2 years, episode 100, Halloween.
And Halloween is definitely an episode that we look forward to. We try to cram it full of as much spooky goodness for you guys as we can.
Cram it full of spooky goodness. That sounds dirty. But
only because you made it that way.
Yeah, I'm like cram it full of spooky goodness.
Talking about a lovely Halloween holiday and all the spooky vibes that go along with it. You're trying to make it dirty.
Yep.
Well, good job. Good on you.
I did it.
You accomplished that.
Yeah. I succeeded. Okay, well, I say let's wrap up this episode. Go hit up our Buy Me a Coffee, our Patreon. Check out us on social media. He's CryptoZoo88. I am the Steve Strout. Go
hit up the merch. Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto merch.
And all that stuff. Thanks again to Mark Monlux for joining us. I think that's about it. We will see you guys. We will imagine seeing you guys while we're talking to each other, pretending we're talking to you. Yeah, that sounded stupid. But anyways, we have been the Steve Crypto Show.
I'm Crypto Zoo. When you turn this off, go to our website and buy a shirt from a grandma. That's enough from you and me. We'll catch you on 93.
Fucking rhymes. Don't be stopped there.